Losing a top performer disrupts everything. It halts your projects. It hurts team morale. It costs you money to find a replacement. In fact, estimates suggest that replacing a highly trained employee can cost up to 2 times their annual salary when you factor in recruiting, training, and lost productivity. But the financial hit isn't even the worst part. It's the vacuum they leave behind. The institutional knowledge that walks out the door. The sudden drop in the team's spirit. Everyone wonders, do they know something I don't know? Should I leave as well? You want to keep your best people. To do that, you need to spot the signs that they might leave long before they hand in a resignation letter. Most leaders miss the warnings. They think everything is fine until they get that "Can we talk?" email. But research from the Academy of Management Journal shows that employees rarely quit on impulse. They go through a phase of pre-quitting behaviors. They detach psychologically weeks or even months before they detach physically. You can see these shifts if you pay attention. You just need to know what to look for. First, look for a drop in engagement. This is often the most subtle sign. Think about the employee who used to be the first to speak up in meetings. If they sit in silence now, take note. Watch for a lack of interest in the future. Committed employees care about long-term results. Employees who plan to leave stop caring about what happens next quarter. They stop fighting for their ideas because they know they won't be around to see them through. Second, check their output. You aren't just looking for missed deadlines, though those act as clear warnings. You're looking for a shift in focus. Academic research on withdrawal behaviors points to a concept often called quiet quitting. This happens when a high achiever suddenly dials back to do the bare minimum. They stop volunteering. They stop staying late to hit a deadline. If a superstar suddenly becomes average, their mind is likely somewhere else. Third, watch their attendance patterns. This isn't just about calling in sick. A sudden spike in random vacation days, especially half-days or midweek absences, often means they need time for job interviews. You might also notice they start leaving precisely at 5 o'clock, whereas they used to stay until the job was done. They are reclaiming their time. Fourth, notice their social habits. Work is a social experience. When someone decides to leave, they often begin to sever the emotional ties they have with the team. Someone who used to chat with colleagues about their weekend might suddenly pull back. They might eat lunch alone or stop joining in on small talk. They're distancing themselves to make the final goodbye less painful. Fifth, check their attitude. Cynicism can signal a foot out the door. When an employee feels their current situation is temporary, they lose their filter. They might complain more openly. They might show friction with management. This negative shift often stems from a feeling of hopelessness. They don't believe things can change, so they stop trying to be polite about it. However, be careful. Don't assume you know the full story. Personal stress can look like job dissatisfaction. A divorce, a health scare, or a family crisis can cause productivity to drop and social withdrawal to spike. You need to verify what you see. That's why it's always essential to develop an honest and transparent relationship with your employees. This requires you to start a conversation. You need to schedule a one-on-one meeting, but not a standard status update. You need to have a stay interview. Sit down with them. Make it safe for them to speak. Ask open-ended questions that force them to reflect, such as, when was the last time you felt energized by your work? Or ask them, if you could change one thing about your role, what would it be? Listen to what they say. But more importantly, listen to what they don't say. If they give generic answers or seem hesitant to discuss the future, you have your answer. Now, let's look at this through a different lens, that of the faith-based leader. You have an even deeper responsibility here. The Bible offers guidance on how we treat the people we lead. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 23, speaking to leaders, it says, "Be sure you know the condition of your flocks, give careful attention to your herds." In ancient times, a shepherd's livelihood depended on knowing the health of every sheep. Today, that translates to knowing your people. You can't lead someone you don't know. You can't retain someone if you don't understand their burdens. Colossians 3 verse 23 tells us, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters." We often quote this to employees to encourage hard work. But as a leader, you must flip the mirror. Are you creating an environment worthy of that kind of dedication? Are you building a workplace where someone can feel they are serving a higher purpose? Or are you just grinding them down for profit? The biblical model of leadership is not power, it's service. If your employees feel used rather than valued, they'll leave. If they feel you see them as a production unit rather than a person created in God's image, they'll find a leader who respects them. So, how do you fix this? How do you improve retention before it's too late? First, provide a clear future. Research consistently shows that a lack of career growth is a primary reason people quit, along with a negative relationship with their supervisor. If they can't see a path forward with you, they'll find it elsewhere. Offer chances to learn new skills. Help them advance within the company. And the first to jump ship are often your top performers because they have many options. Second, recognize their hard work. It costs you nothing to say thank you, yet it pays huge dividends. People need to feel seen. Everyone wants to feel cared for and make a difference in their work. Third, pay them a fair wage. You can't build loyalty on the cheap. Check your salaries against the market and ensure you're being fair. Finally, respect their life outside of work. Burnout drives good people away. Flexible schedules and respect for boundaries show that you care about them as human beings, not just as workers. Keep the lines of communication open. When you show you care, when you know the condition of your flock, you build loyalty that money can't buy. That's how you keep your team together. That is how you lead well. If you'd like to learn more about being a Christ follower leader, head over to motivitymedia.com/why.
This has been a copyrighted production of Motivity Media. For more articles on applying biblical principles to your leadership, go to motivitymedia.com.